Many people wonder what to do with their next dollar, not in some abstract theoretical sense, but with the actual money in their bank account or from their next paycheck. While this question seems simple, the answer is often complicated, and making the wrong decision can result in years of lost progress and thousands of dollars in missed opportunities. People must decide whether to pay off debt first, potentially delaying investing and missing market gains, to start investing immediately in hopes of earning more than the interest on credit cards, or to focus on building an emergency fund, even if money sits in a low-yield account, losing value to inflation. Unexpected financial setbacks, such as job loss, car breakdowns, or medical emergencies, can derail even the best-laid plans. Millions of people feel confused or anxious about these choices as they try to take their finances seriously and often struggle to feel secure, despite working hard and saving diligently. Many end up feeling stuck, making little progress. The issue usually stems not from effort or intelligence, but from a lack of a clear system. Without knowing the correct order for financial decisions, even good moves can result in slow progress, frustration, and missed opportunities. My name is Michael, and welcome to Investor Voice. On this channel, we break down real financial strategies, investment principles, and practical systems that help ordinary people build long-term wealth. We don't deal in get-rich-quick schemes or complicated trading strategies. You won't need a PhD to understand what we discuss here. We don't promise to turn $1,000 into $1 million overnight with some secret method either. We focus on fundamentals, the principles that actually work over time. These have built fortunes for generations of smart, patient, and disciplined investors. Our goal is simple: help you understand money in a way that works in your real life, with your income, expenses, and goals. Building wealth isn't about luck or finding a perfect investment to quickly multiply your money. Instead, it's about understanding how money works and following a clear plan over a long period. That means sticking to the plan during bull and bear markets, through good times and bad, and through all the ups and downs no one can predict. Today, I want to walk you through a powerful concept that changed how I think about personal finance. I call it the financial order of operations. This step-by-step system tells you exactly what to do with your next dollar, in what order, and why. It removes guesswork and brings clarity and confidence. It offers a roadmap while everyone else wanders, hoping for the best. Most people believe that investing should always be the first step toward building wealth. This is a natural assumption, constantly reinforced by the media and popular culture. We hear stories about people who got rich from Bitcoin, from Tesla stock, from real estate deals, and we think that if we could just find the right investment, we would be set for life. We see headlines about someone who turned a small investment into a fortune, and we imagine that could be us if we just get lucky. They hear about the stock market, cryptocurrencies, or real estate, and immediately want to jump into investing, often with money they cannot afford to lose, money that should be going toward more foundational goals. But what many people do not realize is that investing without the right financial foundation can actually make things more stressful and more dangerous than not investing at all. Imagine investing your money while you still have high-interest debt, like a 22% credit card balance. Every dollar you put into the stock market is a dollar you are not using to pay down that debt, which is growing at a guaranteed rate that no investment can reliably beat. You are effectively borrowing money at 22% to invest in something that might return 8 or 10% if you are lucky. That math does not work, and it never will. Imagine investing while you have no emergency savings. One unexpected event, a car repair, a medical bill, or a job loss, could force you to sell your investments at the worst possible time, locking in losses and destroying your carefully laid plans. That is why smart financial planning starts with protecting yourself before focusing on growth. It starts with building a foundation before you try to build the house. You would not build a house on sand, and you should not build your financial future on a weak foundation. To explain how this system works in real life, in a way that you can actually relate to and apply to your own situation, let us imagine a young professional named Freddie. Freddie is 25 years old and has just started his career, earning an annual salary of about $58,500. It is a solid starting salary, enough to live on and save, but not so much that he can afford to be careless or make big mistakes. He is right in the middle of the American workforce, representative of millions of people who are just getting started. After taxes and deductions, his monthly take-home income is a little over $4,000. This is the money he actually has to work with each month, the cash that lands in his bank account and has to cover everything from rent to groceries to entertainment. Freddie decides that he wants to be financially responsible from the beginning of his career. He has seen too many friends fall into debt, live paycheck to paycheck, and constantly stress about money. He has seen the toll that financial anxiety takes on people, the way it affects relationships, mental health, and overall happiness. He does not want that life. He wants to be different. He wants to build something that will last. So instead of increasing his lifestyle immediately, instead of buying a new car or moving into a more expensive apartment, he keeps his monthly expenses around $3,500. He lives in a modest apartment, maybe with a roommate to split costs. He cooks most of his own meals instead of eating out or ordering delivery. He uses public transportation instead of buying a car with payments and insurance. He keeps his entertainment budget reasonable by finding free or low-cost activities such as hiking, reading, or hanging out with friends. That means after paying for rent, groceries, utilities, transportation, and other basic costs, Freddie still has around $500 to $600 left each month. This is his margin, his surplus, his opportunity. This is the gap between what he earns and what he spends, and that gap is the single most important number in personal finance. Everything else depends on it. Without margin, you cannot save. Without saving, you cannot invest. Without investing, you cannot build wealth. Now, at first glance, that extra $500 might not seem like a big deal. In the grand scheme of things, it is not a life-changing amount of money. It is not going to make him rich overnight. It is not going to allow him to buy a Lamborghini or retire next year. But this is exactly where wealth building begins. That small amount of monthly margin, consistently saved and wisely directed over time, is the seed that can grow into something much larger. It is the foundation of everything. The key is what he does with it, and the order in which he does it. Freddie's first step is to protect himself from major financial risks. He sits down and thinks about what could really hurt him financially. What events could derail his plans and set him back years? In his situation, the biggest potential risk is his health insurance deductible, which is about $2,500. If Freddie suddenly had a medical emergency without savings, if he broke his leg or needed an appendectomy, he could be forced into debt immediately, debt that would take years to pay off with interest. So instead of investing right away, instead of buying stocks or crypto, he spends the first few months building a small safety cushion. He saves until he has $2,500 in a separate savings account, money there specifically to cover his deductible if needed. This is not exciting. It does not make for a good story, but it is smart. It is the foundation of financial security, and it gives him peace of mind, knowing that he is protected from at least one major financial shock. Once Freddie saves enough money to cover his deductible, he moves to the next step in the order of operations, capturing his employer's retirement match. This is one of the most powerful and overlooked opportunities in personal finance, and it is almost criminal how many people leave this money on the table without realizing what they are missing. Many companies offer retirement plans, such as 401ks, that match a portion of employees' contributions. It is essentially free money, an instant return on your investment that you cannot get anywhere else. In Freddie's case, his employer offers a dollar-for-dollar match on the first 3% of his salary. That means that if Freddie contributes 3% of his paycheck to the retirement plan, the company contributes another 3% for free. It is an instant guaranteed 100% return on his money. There is no investment in the world that can promise that kind of return with no risk. This is one of the most powerful opportunities in personal finance, and people should almost never ignore it. Freddie adjusts his contributions to capture the full match, knowing that this money will grow tax-deferred for decades, compounding on itself and building a nest egg for his future. He sets it up automatically so he does not even have to think about it, and he watches his retirement account grow without any additional effort. After securing the employer match, Freddie turns his attention to another major financial obstacle: high-interest debt. Like many young professionals, Freddie has some credit card debt from his college days when he needed to buy books or pay for a trip when money was tight. It happens to a lot of people, and it is nothing to be ashamed of, but it is something to deal with. He currently owes $3,000 on a credit card that charges about 22% interest. That interest rate is extremely high and can dramatically slow financial progress. It is like a weight holding him back, a tax on his future. Instead of paying only the minimum payment each month, which would take years to pay off and cost him a fortune in interest, Freddie uses the remaining money from his monthly margin to aggressively pay down the balance. He throws every extra dollar at that debt. He lives frugally for a few months, cutting back on unnecessary expenses. Within about 7 months, he completely eliminates the credit card debt. It is gone. He feels a sense of freedom that is hard to describe, a weight lifted from his shoulders. He no longer has that monthly payment hanging over him, nor does he have that interest eating away at his income. He is now free to use that money for other things. With his debt gone, Freddie moves to the next critical stage, building a full emergency fund. Financial experts often recommend saving between 3 and 6 months of living expenses to protect against unexpected events, such as job loss or major illness. This is not just a suggestion, it is a cornerstone of financial stability. Freddie calculates that his monthly expenses are about $3,500, so his target emergency fund is $10,500. This might seem like a large amount to save, especially after he has already been saving for months and paying off debt. It requires discipline and patience. It requires saying no to things he might want in the short term. But it provides an incredible level of financial security. If Freddie loses his job, faces unexpected medical bills, or encounters any major financial problem, he now has the cash to handle it without going into debt, without selling investments at a loss, without panicking. He has built a fortress around himself. He can sleep soundly at night, knowing he is protected from whatever life throws his way. After about 18 months of consistent saving, Freddie finally completes his emergency fund. It has been a long journey, a 1.5 years of discipline and delayed gratification, but he has done it. At this point, he is only 27 years old, but he has already achieved something that many people struggle with for decades, something that eludes most Americans. He has no high-interest debt. He has a fully funded emergency reserve. He has a growing retirement account thanks to the employer match. He has built a foundation that will support him for the rest of his life. Now Freddie is ready to shift his focus from financial protection to financial growth. This is where investing and wealth building begin to accelerate. The heavy lifting is done, and now he can start to build in earnest. Freddie starts contributing to a Roth IRA, a powerful retirement account that allows investments to grow tax-free. Unlike traditional retirement accounts, where you pay taxes when you withdraw the money in retirement, a Roth IRA lets you pay taxes now and then never pay them again. For a young person like Freddie, who is in a relatively low tax bracket, this is an excellent choice. It locks in his low tax rate now and allows decades of tax-free growth. To fully fund this account each year, he contributes about $625 per month. At the same time, he He also begins contributing to a health savings account, or HSA, which provides additional tax advantages and helps prepare for future medical expenses. This account also grows tax-free if used for qualified medical expenses, and it is one of the most tax-advantaged accounts available. When all of these contributions are combined, his retirement account contributions, his Roth IRA, and his HSA, Freddie ends up saving over $1,300 per month toward his future financial goals. That is more than 30% of his after-tax income going toward building wealth. This level of saving might sound aggressive to some people. It requires discipline and a willingness to delay gratification. It means not keeping up with the Joneses, not buying the latest gadgets, and not taking expensive vacations. But it places Freddie in an incredibly strong position for the future. By consistently saving around 25 to 30% of his income, he enters what many financial planners call the hyperaccumulation stage. This is the phase where compound interest begins to work in his favor in a serious way. Instead of money working against him through debt and interest payments, his investments now start generating returns and building momentum over time. The snowball is starting to roll downhill, getting bigger and faster every year. Each year his returns grow larger, and each year that growth accelerates. He is no longer just saving money. He is building a machine that will eventually support him. If Freddie continues following this disciplined approach throughout his career, keeps saving and investing, and avoids major financial mistakes, the long-term results can be truly remarkable. Even without huge salary increases, even without risky investments, even without timing the market perfectly, simply saving consistently and allowing compound growth to do its work could allow Freddie to build a portfolio worth several $1 million by the time he reaches retirement age. Think about that for a moment. A young man making less than $60,000 a year who follows a simple system could become a millionaire multiple times over. That is the power of the financial order of operations. That is what happens when you stop guessing and start following a plan. And the most important part is that he achieved this by following a simple financial system, not by trying to predict the market or chase quick profits, not by gambling on options or crypto, but by doing the boring, consistent work that actually builds wealth. Of course, life is never perfectly predictable. No plan survives contact with reality without some adjustments. Freddie might face unexpected events along the way. He might have to rebuild his emergency fund after a crisis, like a major car repair or a medical issue. He might change jobs and temporarily lose employer benefits, disrupting his retirement contributions. He might decide to buy a house, which could reduce his investment contributions for a few years while he saves for a down payment and adjusts to mortgage payments. These are all normal parts of life, not failures. But because he built a strong financial foundation early in life, with no debt and a healthy emergency fund, these challenges do not threaten his financial future. They do not set him back years. They simply become temporary adjustments along the journey, bumps in the road that he can handle without panic, without falling back into debt. This is why having a structured financial plan is so powerful. This is why the financial order of operations is not just a nice idea, but an essential tool for anyone who wants to build wealth. Without a system, people often make emotional decisions with money. They react to headlines, buying when the market is high out of fear of missing out, and selling when the market crashes out of panic. They follow trends, jumping from crypto to NFTs to meme stocks, always chasing the next big thing, always hoping for a shortcut. They compare themselves to others, feeling inadequate because their neighbor has a nicer car or a bigger house. But when you follow a proven financial order of operations, every dollar you earn has a clear purpose. You know when to save, when to eliminate debt, and when to invest. You have a roadmap that tells you where you are and where you are going. And over time, those small disciplined decisions made consistently, year after year, create extraordinary results that most people cannot even imagine. It is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent. The most important lesson here is that building wealth is not about making one perfect decision. It is not about picking the right stock at the right time. It is not about getting lucky with a cryptocurrency. It is about consistently making the right, small decisions again and again over many years. It is about having the discipline to follow a plan when it is boring, when it is slow, when it feels like nothing is happening. The earlier you start, the more powerful compound growth becomes. Even modest savings, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, can turn into significant wealth when given enough time to grow and compound. Time is the most powerful force in investing, and the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. You cannot change the past, but you can start right now with your next dollar. If you want to understand investing, personal finance, and the strategies that help people build real financial freedom, you are in the right place. This is exactly what we talk about here on Investor Voice, where the focus is always on practical knowledge, long-term thinking, and smart financial decisions. Not hype, not noise, not get-rich-quick schemes, but real, actionable information that you can use in your own life to build something lasting. If you found this breakdown helpful, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. It helps more people find this content and join our community of smart investors who are serious about their future. And if you know someone who is just starting their financial journey and is confused about where to begin, share this video with them. It might just change their life and set them on the right path. While you are at it, smash that like button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video on Investor Voice.